My name is Amara. I voted for the first time during the 2019 general elections. Coming from a political science academic background, I always knew that as citizens, especially young people, our voices are hardly heard. So that was my own chance to take a stand. The biggest success in the 2019 elections were the presence of young people voting and being voted for. I believe that the Not Too Young to Run law made more young people to come out into the election scene because young people feel more comfortable when they see people in their age grade in a particular place. And just the campaign for the Not Too Young to Run itself piqued a lot of people's interest. I believe that young candidates didn't get votes from young people because I don't say they didn't use the right techniques. People didn't really know them, to be honest.
Welcome to Talk Your Own Voices and Votes, a special edition of We the People. My name is Affiong Basi, but you can call me Afi. Addressing a group of students at Bayero University, Kano in August 2018, Professor Mahmood Yakub, the chairman of INEC, boldly predicted that young Nigerian voters 18 to 35 could be the game changer in the 2019 polls. But did his prediction come true? How did young people do in the last general election? Good? Nearly? Maybe still far away? If yes, why so? And how do we move forward? I am here at the beautiful Bayes University campus in the Federal Capital Territory to throw these questions at a group of fellow Nigerians who are young people making up the audience, as well as a panel made up of Kolo Kenneth from Connected Development Code, as well as Anu, and she's from Youth Hub Africa. Now, did the prediction that youth will be the game changer in this 2019 elections, as said by Professor Yakub Mahmood? Let me ask, Kolo Kenneth.
Yes, it was inevitable. There was no need for any predictions. Young people between the ages of 18 and 35 constitute a large and growing population in Nigeria, and so they were going to be the fulcrum, the center point of the elections regardless.
So for you, they were the game changers?
Yes.
What about you, Anu?
Honestly, in my opinion, I do not think that young people were necessarily the game changers in this
particular election. Why do you say that?
Because speaking with a lot of people who are my peers and, just being at the polling unit, being able to vote and all, I could see people, and from the look of it, it didn't look like there were so many young people there at the polling units. And I actually visited about 2 polling units because I had to follow my parents, and it was just, no offense, but it was like old people everywhere. People who were talking about how the last election was not like this and all of that. And so I couldn't really see my mates there. And as much as I could see a few young people, I didn't really see too many young people there. And I know that a lot of people got their PVCs and all, and we were all flaunting it on social media. But apparently when it came to the day, I don't necessarily think that young people really came out to vote.
Kolo is itching to say something, but let me ask from the candidacy point of view.
From the candidacy point of view, yes. There were at least 400 ready to run candidates who are young people between the ages of 18 to 35 running for various elective positions across board. So indeed, yes.
Let's hear from the yes, the no's, the maybes. So we'll start with you.
I think the young people have been figureheads in policy making, elections, everything that pertains to Nigeria through decades. This was no exception because, yes, we had the not too young to run. We had young people as maybe election observers. But their position is not influential. It's not about policies. And we still have the same old people who are there and they still control the whole system.
The young people are actually the game changers because I can see the massive number of young people who came out, not just people that are contesting this time around, but people that really participated at various levels. Compared to what happened in 2015, 2019, young people actually did well, and we just have to encourage them to keep the tempo. That means 2023 is going to be better than this.
If you look at demographics of people on social media users, you will still see these same youths as the highest number of internet users and the rest.
Yeah, but
So
Anu mentioned
that's-
earlier
that's actually
so
where I'm going
youth
to, right?
are actually participating a lot more on social media than they were on the ground.
Yes, definitely. They're actually participating more on social media.
So does that
Still,
make them a game changer?
Definitely.
Okay, Mercy says no. Let's hear from Mercy.
Okay.
Let me hear what she has to say.
Okay, first of all, I have the problem with the word game changers, or because for me, 2019 election, the game was the same with all I've been seeing over the years. When it comes to awareness, yes, people were more aware. For me, I voted for the first time since I became like an adult.
So
but when it came
this was your first time of voting?
Yeah, this was my first time of voting.
Okay, so let's change this now. What do you think? First-time voters.
Beyond first-time voters, we have to look at the broad spectrum of the electoral process. Young people turned out to vote across the country, even in places where we felt people might not turn up. For example, in Maiduguri, on election day, very early in the morning, there were bomb blasts simultaneously, well coordinated. And that was to get people to be afraid to turn out. But people turned out.
All right. Thank you, Kulu Kenneth. Anu, is the jury still out on the not too young to run law?
I feel like because of the law, a lot of young people could see that, oh yes, we can actually like make a difference and we can actually get our voices to be heard and all of that. And it was encouraging to see the number of young candidates who came out to run. And even though some of them didn't win, it was still, you could still see the support from young people for them who believe that, oh yes, these people actually came for a good cause and they could actually do something. So for me, I think not too young to run law was important in 2019 elections, and it will build us up for 2023 elections.
I think the not too young to run as a policy, as a law passed, is very, very okay. Perfect. But I think we need to have an understanding as young people. Imagine you say you want to go for election for 2023. It's something you actually start now. So most young people might be asleep at this moment. Yes, we will do post-mortem. But if you want to go for an elective position, I think it actually starts now. You go to your community, your constituency, you get awareness, you get yourself involved in projects. But that's only when it can be involved, where you have a name, where it's not all about the money that you're struggling to get to buy people's mandates.
Talk your own voices and votes. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly.
You asked me about not too young to run bill. Yes, it's good, but reducing age is not the only thing that hampers young people from aspiring for politics. We're talking with my friends and they're like, Kule, you're on the neck of a political party. And you're not yet 40. And you're not a youth leader. That's like, great. What next? And I was like, okay, yeah, what next? I aspired for the office of Senate in the FCT in 2019. I'll be honest, in any votes in Nigeria, youth votes are always game changers. But the problem is who the youth actually is voting for. If I were to rate everything, that's INEC, people, everything, I would have given us about maybe 35%.
Welcome back to Talk Your Own Voices and Votes, a special edition of We the People. And we've been discussing the 2019 general elections. Kunle Lawal, just coming in now quickly. Join us. Kunle Lawal was a senatorial candidate in the just concluded election. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you too.
So Kunle, you were directly involved in this because you were a candidate. What did you think? Did you think things worked well for you to encourage you as a young person to participate in this election?
Well, I must say one thing. What you see when you're seeing things from an electorate position is totally different to when you go behind the curtain and aspire for office.
So do you want to tell us what you've been seeing behind the curtain so we know what's up to?
You know, a lot of things come into play. You see, first you must know you don't have the visibility, and especially if you're not running with the two big parties, you don't have the visibility that you should have. And this is now because maybe the media also doesn't celebrate smaller parties as much. The second thing will be most people in rural areas and even the elites just know the two main parties. So when you're running in a party that would allow someone as young as myself be a senatorial candidate, especially within the FCT, it's a whole different ballgame. So there are a lot of factors that come together that actually limit youth participation in politics. A lot of factors come together.
Do you want to mention, say, one?
Yeah, let's look at the financial aspects for the first thing. To run for Senate will cost you about 200 million naira if you want to run a good race for Senate.
Okay,
And
that is, you say to run. Cost you, what are you buying? We just want to know.
okay, let me give you an example. In my party, the form cost 1 million naira. In one of the bigger parties, it cost 7.5 million naira. In another party, it cost about 9 million naira. That's just a form. Now, going through primaries, there are things you have to do, which is, work within the internal democracy of the party, a lot of other things. And then heading towards election, you pay for media time, you pay for, visits. Every time you go and see a Seriki, let me give you an example. Abuja has 62 wards. If I visited the 62 entire wards, that meant I would deal with more than probably 80-something small chiefs, about 6 or 7 second-class chiefs. Every time I'm going to see them, it's at the cost of fueling cars, providing gifts for them. You can't just go and see a Seriki empty-handed. That's our African culture. So each visit will cost about, let's say, 20,000. So 20 multiplied by 84 small chiefs. How much do you think that is? We're just talking about visits. I haven't talked about social media, boosting posts. I haven't talked about times we had strategy meetings. Politics costs money anywhere in the world.
Great. So let's take this last bit of what Kunle said. Politics costs money. And I saw a lot of you when he was talking about how much he had to spend and all that. I could see some of your faces and your body reactions. What do you think about this money thing as it concerns politics, especially for young people?
And I agree that politics do cost money because it's something that requires awareness, creating awareness.
But should it?
Well, the question about should it cost or not cost money now cannot really be answered because politics is local. Like I said, you have to visit the Seriki and you cannot go empty-handed to visit a king. You want people's vote. You want to you want to talk to influencers, people that would influence their words to vote for you. So definitely it would cost money eventually.
Sorry, is believing in you not enough?
I don't want to believe it should cost that much. Politics in Nigeria is very, very expensive. And that's because Nigerians do look at the social investment part of a person. If there's somebody that can contribute so much to the society, you yourself, you know that person can contribute so much to the society, but just because that person might not have the financial backing and there's somebody throwing something somewhere, you might tend to overlook that person. If we as young people start looking into the social investment of our beings, social investment in what this person has even done without being in a position, what this person has contributed to the community without actually holding an official office, per se, if there's something like that. If we start looking at that, then I feel we'll do better. Because why won't politics cost money when you can call a few people and share something around and you get the votes you need? Why won't it cost money when you can afford to call some young people, pay them some money, and they will disrupt the electoral process? So yes, it will cost money.
Okay, Kunle, you were going to say something?
Following your answer, politics costs money in Nigeria because our politics is not yet ideological.
But should it cost money, really?
No, it should. It would cost, politics anywhere in the world costs money, let's be honest.
But not as much as what you're saying?
Not as much as it's supposed to cost in Nigeria. Let me give you an example. Of the 21 candidates running for Senate in the FCT, and all senatorial candidates in Nigeria, I proposed 49 bills preluding my election. I'm supposed to win the election, right? Because that's higher than the Nigerian Senate even proposes in 4 years. Did I? No. So our politics is not yet ideological. We are still at a give and take political position. So because of where we are, and we haven't transcended to the next level, we wouldn't know. I can tell you that most people sitting down here don't even, I'm sure you live in Abuja, but you didn't know Iran, right? Next time, Google Kunle Lawal. Do you understand? You would find out. So that's the way our politics is.
All right. So whose job really is it to create a platform to engage young people on preparations for elections?
It's everyone's business, as far as civic engagement is concerned, to get people to understand how politics should work and to also understand that election should not just be an election day, that it's a continuous process. And that's why you have a 4-year cycle. So engaging the electorate should not be 2 months to election, even if the Elections Management Board have a calendar for campaigning. It doesn't stop you from engaging constituencies.
So whose job is it to do this engagement of young people?
To engage young people, the politicians who are running for office, who want to canvass the votes of young people, civil society that is in direct contact with the electorate, so civil society organizations that are in direct contact with civil society, as well as political parties. And that could be one place where there's a disconnect between political parties and the electorate. That political parties only focus on the internal politics before the election cycle, and then when the campaign cycle come up, then they begin to focus on the people. They should be engaging. Political parties should be able to sensitize their people on when continuous voter registration has begun. They should be able to sensitize their people on when, how, and where they should go and get their PVCs.
In this particular election that passed, really, how many political parties took up young people? How many political parties gave young people the platform to run? Anu, did you see?
In all honesty, I don't think so. I don't think that they gave enough chance for young people to run, especially the political parties that are kind of like known and all of that. They didn't really give chance to young people to run, which is why you had a lot of young people running with parties that just started yesterday, and then everybody has
maybe like the kind of party that Kunle ran.
I ran under the Alliance for New Nigeria. I don't think
it's not new.
No,
okay?
no, it's a new party. It's less than a year.
Oh, really?
But
I knew about them.
But we've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
I worked a lot to send out that message. Our presidential candidate too worked a whole lot. That's Fela Durotoye, a whole lot to bring out this party. But for me, I think even the system has rigged the whole election from the beginning. Because when you get to hear things that the National Orientation Agency and the media say, they'll say, take your power, you should vote, go and vote. That's all they preach. They don't tell you that you can actually run for election. Nobody tells you that. Nobody says you can hold your elected officials accountable. Nobody says that on national TV. They just tell you vote, vote, vote. Vote is your right. And that's wrong. Because there are two other stages of democracy which are more important than voting.
A lot of people really want to speak. Let's move around.
I think the system of education in Nigeria is one of the problem, because this is something that you're supposed to be taught from childhood. Like these are the things that you need to do. These are your basic rights, and it's missing. Primary is missing. Secondary is missing. Your university, nobody talks to you about that, and that automatically tells you that whatever you're being given, accept it. It's a bullshit.
Okay, so Kunle, you said your party spent time actually trying to sensitize people and all. And that was one of the things that Kulu Kenneth said, that it's the political party's duty to actually, enlighten young people and all. But then, I also remember Anu saying that, no, we shouldn't put it on the political parties, that young people should.
You can't put
so what exactly did you do?
You can't put the bulk on political parties. We just knew that if we did not do this or accept the responsibility, we're going to suffer during the elections. If you ask what did we do, yes, we went to universities. I'll tell you, the presidential candidate, myself, the first things we did was to go to universities, because we knew that that was where the voters that had not yet been corrupted with the elitist system that we have, we could get simply. So we went there and taught them governance. We didn't tell them vote for our party. We're teaching them governance, what you should expect from a senator, what you should expect from a president, what you should expect from a governor. And we plan to continue doing this over the next 4 years.
So is that something that young people should be doing that they're not actually doing now?
One thing that I know for sure is that most people don't really have an idea what politics is. And as a young person, if you have interest in politics, just like he said, because of the narrative, because of the notion we have, politics is a dirty game. That's what most people will tell you. And so it means for you to actually be part of it, you have to be dirty.
Is that what you believe too?
That is not what I believe. That is not how it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, that is what is happening. And there's nothing, actually there's something we can do, but we're not allowing ourselves to do it.
So what are you doing now as a young person to change the narrative?
The little I can do, honestly, is to just find out more about politics. Right now as it is. We've done this on social media. I'm talking about telling people, okay, come out and vote. I mean, I took it personal because I remember I even had to go, my neighbor, let's do this together.
I think that most Nigerians, the youth, we are not united in purpose. I think that there's a perspective out there that needs to be changed. The perspective that if you don't have the money or if you don't have the experience, you can't make it so far in politics.
Thank you for sharing. There's another lady here.
People may have been like, oh, the person I voted for didn't win. That shouldn't discourage you. That's not a bad thing. Not everyone can win, right? Even political candidates, because you didn't win doesn't mean there's nothing wrong, right? Even the political parties that are popular now, they all started from somewhere, right? So because the first year you didn't win, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a stepping stone.
So basically motivate yourself.
Yes,
and
just
keep
motivate
on going.
yourself and keep
Thank
going.
you very much for sharing. Okay, so let's hear from the panel.
Nigeria has to learn to see things differently. We must understand that the decisions we make today, either decision of not voting, decision to say, anyway, I'll lose my votes, let me just vote for one of them, you are punishing yourself.
All right, thank you very much, Kunle. And Anu, from you.
So for me, just speaking practically, I think the first thing is the elections are over now. So your candidate has either won the election or lost the election, but it shouldn't stop my own role as a citizen. So regardless of if the person I liked or the person I wanted got in or not, now there's somebody there that I will still have to hold accountable.
Thank you for sharing. All right, and from you,
Yes.
Kulu Kenneth.
We have to be futurist when we're talking solutions. And so when we're going to secondary schools, when we're going to universities, what are we teaching the politicians and the constituencies of the future? What are we teaching them? Should we be teaching them the difference between democracy and politics? And that democracy is one aspect of politics, but politics affects and endangers everyone. Should we also be teaching them about advocacy and activism and social mobilization? Because indeed, beyond the monies that come with politics, there has to be an understanding of these aspects. It's very essential. Because again, we talk about not too young to run, and we expect that because there's a not too young to run act, things should be easy for young people. But you are coming to dislodge an entire generation of people who want to be there forever. They are not going to give up the fight. Power is not going to be given to you for free. You have to fight and take it.
Thank you very much, Kulu Kenneth of Connected Development Code, Anu Ogundikpe from Youth Hub Africa, as well as Kunle Lawal, senatorial candidate in the last 2019 elections. Thank you for being a part of this panel. And the audience, thank you so much for being so engaging in this conversation. Now, let me quickly give some of the points I would say we're taking out of this. I'll read it quickly out. As a young person, register your name and act with the people before registering your politics with the people. Perspectives should begin to change for young people. Young people should motivate themselves and get educated about the different aspects of politics. One other point that was made here was on coalition. Young people get together and form a coalition. And elections have come and gone, but your role as a young citizen still continues, and that is in holding those who are already in power to account. Did I capture some of this stuff well? Okay, on that note, we have come to the end of today's edition of Talk Your Own Voices and Votes, which is a special edition of We the People. Thank you again, and a round of applause for yourselves. Until next time, I am Afyong Basi. Bye.
Do you want to be part of the conversation? Are there questions or comments you'd like to share? So follow at Talk Your Own on Twitter and join the discussion. You can also visit BBC Media Action Niger on Facebook and Instagram. Like and follow to be part of the conversation.